My goodness, that thing throws water a long ways. Good morning. Welcome back to our irrigation field. Seems like I spend a lot of time here these days. I did move the Traveler last night. It was done at about 11:15 last night, and I made the next run. It was not quite a full pull because I kind of ran into the corner of the woods over there, and I decided I did not want to destroy the trees on the edge of the field with the high pressure water jet. So I kind of pulled up close to them and then let it go, but it was still a 7.5 hour pull. However, this next one, back there where the tractor's sitting, will be all the way out because I can go all the way past our far end rows down there. So we're going to get that set up. It just shut off. There's actually still water dripping out of the end of the gun here. So we're going to get her moved to the next lane. All right, I'm hooked up almost. Just got to hook the gun cart up to the tractor, but we're in the right spot, so ready to pull it out. This one we are going to pull it out as far as we can pull it out. Well, it's a long ways away, but the center drum on that reel is painted white, so you can see when it's empty. I think we're pretty close. I'm going to call it good enough. We actually made it into the end rows past our end of our lane there. We are going to get the neighbor's beans a little bit in this corner, but that's okay. The goal was to spray it as far out into that corn as possible, and I think we're where we need to be, or at least as far as we're going to get. So, all right, I got to take this tractor around to the other pole, go in the opposite direction for when this one's done. And then I've got a little bit of stuff I want to work on that Traveler before we fire it up to make this easier. Okay, we got her just about right. Our footage here says 1,220 feet. We did get a bit of a loop, or it came loose on the reel there. I didn't slow down enough before I stopped. My fault, but that's okay because we got a little project that's actually going to help us. So you always want to have one wrap left on the reel just for tension and so that it stays on and, you know, for pulling purposes and stuff. So we'll tighten that up before we fire it up. But I've got some little lights that I want to drill through this and install in there, kind of where this last one that comes off is, so that at night when I am pulling this out and I can't see the white on there to know how much is working across, them lights will come on, and when they get uncovered, I'll know it's time to stop. So I'm going to attempt to do that. I brought all the tools and stuff that I think I need, and we should be able to make it work. Huh. Never had this cover off before to be able to get in there. Kind of cool. Yeah, anyway. I need to get this out of the way so that I can crawl in there, and then what we have to do is drill some holes where we want our lights to be. So I gotta figure that out. Okay, I got a hole. So we stick our wires through there. And this is just a little stud light, LED. I tried to set it just to offset of where the hose has been laying so that we don't smash it. And that should work. I think I'm gonna put another one here and here maybe. Kind of give you a warning as you're getting closer. Okay, I got my 3 lights in. I gotta get the retaining nuts on the backside, but that's the first one we did. And then I decided to stagger them rotation-wise. So the next one's up there at the top, and then over there, they're roughly a quarter away from each other, and then they get a little bit farther towards the center on each one of them. So I gotta get the nuts in to hold them in place and then do some wiring. Okay, we are wired up. And all I gotta do is get my power supply, which I'm sure you're wondering, how are you gonna light these things up? Well, they're 12 volt, and I've got a little battery pack here that just takes a whole lot of AA batteries. These things have very low power usage, and as long as I remember to flip the switch and turn it off, it's only gonna run for 5 or 6 minutes whenever I'm pulling this thing out at night. So it should last and be fine. My plan here is to drill a hole and mount this on the outside and stick that connection through. Well, I stuck that through, hooked up my battery pack and turned it on. And we got light. They're working. It's pretty bright even from here, so hopefully we can see them real good at night. All right, finally got my side panel back on. I didn't put all the screws in because I might have to take it back out and secure them wires, but it's together enough to run it. And I got this power pack mounted and secured, and we're ready to fire it back up. Finally, that took a while. This one's a long one, 10 hours and 15 minutes. There it goes. Take a minute before you see the water way back there by the woods now. We've been shut down for well over an hour, so some of the pipe kind of drained out. I made it to the gun before the water. There it comes. Wanted to see what our pressures are doing with it all unwound and getting closer to the pump on our main line there. I'm hoping that our gun pressure is a little bit higher. Still building pressure. Takes a minute to get all the air out. There, we're getting there. Air. Yeah, definitely got more pressure. We're pushing up towards 70. I don't know if you can see that at all. That's good. Go the other way. That means our gallons per minute is increasing as well. Less friction loss, basically. So we'll have to recalculate our timing a little bit. I'll look at my chart and see what it says. Gallons per minute at 70 psi, I believe was 446. So you get an extra 15-20 gallons per minute. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it makes a difference. Okay, we are running. I've got this retrieving. We're still running at our 24 inches per minute, which seems to be closer to an inch of water based on the gallons that we're putting on. Yeah, this one's gonna take over 10 hours. Like, I won't be back here until after 7 tonight, so that's okay. We're covering over 10 acres in this run too. I was thinking about the lights on that tractor yesterday after I was working on it, trying to figure out why they won't work. And I kind of wonder if when I was replacing that headliner back this winter, if I didn't bump a wire harness or something and unplug some. So we may have to take that apart and see. All right, well, today's plan looks like trying to work on a corn planter. So the first thing we need to do is take all the seed discs out, get all the corn out of the row units, anything that's left in the CCS tanks. We will hook it up to the tractor here and get it out front and unfolded and probably do some power washing today, but we gotta get all the seed out of it first. So I'm gonna start there. Well, there's not exactly a lot left in these row units. That's from 2 rows. Guess we were in or about empty when we finished replanting. I'd say that gauge wheel there is a little out of adjustment. Huh. Oh well, that's kind of what happens. So is that one. That one's way too tight. So what happens, you get to the end of the year, and that's why we go through it in the winter, because put it back where things are supposed to be. Oh, I'm not looking forward to this job. It would have been so nice to not have 500 acres of replant and have this thing all cleaned up and put away a month ago. Yeah, oh well, but we'll get it here. That's it. About a quarter of a bag of leftover corn. We'll throw it on our pile over here. Use it up next year. Time to get the tractor, hook it up, so we can get it unfolded and out front to power wash. I just hooked up the ones that I need. Basically the #1 hydraulics and the wire connection for the fold box and the power. I didn't hook up the Green Star monitor or the rest of the hydraulics for the vacuums and the CCS or the hydraulic drive, because I don't need to run those. All we got to do is get it unfolded. But can you tell I'm not excited about this? Alright, what time is it? I might go eat lunch first. It's only 11. No, alright, well, we're going to power wash for a while, then we'll go eat lunch, then we'll come back and power wash some more. Oh, buddy. She is muddy. Especially out here. Look at this. Look at all this. Where did that come from? Lots of places. That's where it came from. Lots of places. But okay, there's your before. Okay, well, I got a solid half hour in and I ran out of diesel fuel, so my water got cold, so I need to fill that up. But I did get this wing fairly well. Look at it while it's still wet, which it's not up here, and yeah, it's not done yet, but we did get the heavy mud off at least, so I don't know, we'll get it this afternoon, but it's gonna take a while. I need to print off a seed bill for one of my customers that's kind of between here and my house, so I'm going to work on that right now, drop that off, and then go eat lunch. We'll come back and work on this some more. Back to this. Let's get it done. Making progress. We're getting closer. I've been through all the row units and around the front and got the fertilizer openers. I got most of the tongue and stuff around the fertilizer tank there. I need to let it down, climb up on top of the CCS tanks and get that platform and all the stuff up on top of the tanks. Maybe in the tanks. I'll look at them and see how bad I think they are. We're getting there. Yeah, so. However, right now I'm going to take a break and I'm going to take the gator up and go check our Traveler just to make sure, because it's a long run. Something goes wrong. I don't know about it for a long time, so let's go check it out. It's still spraying over there. Looks okay here. We're 636 feet yet, so not quite half. We were 1220 when we started, so almost halfway in. I'll have to do some math to see if that's right time-wise, but yeah, looks okay. We're starting to fall behind. You guys see this? Remember yesterday I was telling you about how that corn rolls up when it's dry? Defense mechanism? It's worse today. You can see these leaves are all coming together, and then like oh, I saw some like this one here, it's starting to turn itself over. And yeah, getting rolled up tight. That's gonna get worse and worse until we get some water on here. Back to the planter. I set it down, obviously, and I opened the lids up on the tanks and the fertilizer tank up there so I can rinse the insides of those out. We'll climb up there, do some more power washing, lift it back up, rinse it off, fold it, rinse it off. We do need to dump in our RV antifreeze to the top of the fertilizer tank there and then run it through the system. And to be quite honest, the easiest way to do that is to set the thing in the ground and just drive until it's through the system. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. I just got to find a spot to do it. But more power washing. It almost feels like I'm making some progress here. I think I got the tanks clean. rinsed everything down again, did a little more on the front, but on the tongue side of it. We're getting close here, so I want to dump this RV antifreeze in now while I got it down and I can get up there easy. Then we're going to raise it up, look it over, maybe fold it up. I don't know. We'll see where we're at, but we're going to get this stuff in for now. Seems kind of weird to be winterizing stuff in June when it's 85 degrees out, but that's what happens on a farm when putting your spring equipment away. We aren't going to use this again until next spring, so gotta winterize it. Well, I put 10 gallons in there, and I think I'm going to fold this up and we're going to go find some grass to set it thing down in and pull ahead long enough to circulate that through our flow meters and all the lines and everything. And then we'll come back up and finish power washing. You know what helps the fertilizer system run? When you put the chain back on. I took that chain off when we were replanting because I didn't want my pump to run dry. Forgot to put it back on. Try this again here. There, we're getting some bubbles, so it's doing something. Might have to make a few attempts at my little runway here. We don't have much grass, but it'll work. Well, they turned pink. Give her this one more run, let it get through all the lines out to the openers. And we got her winterized. That's a good deal. Okay, I'm gonna pull back in front of the shop here. I'm gonna leave it folded up and we're gonna power wash it one more time, just a quick rinse really. There's not any heavy dirt left, but different angles and folded, not folded, you always find a new spot here and there. So we'll do that quick, and then I think we're just gonna put it in the barn for tonight. I do want to go through and hit all those blades, openers, fertilizer blades, culvers, all that stuff with that fluid film stuff that I used on the anhydrous bar yesterday. So I don't have time to do that tonight, but we'll get it. Okay, good enough. We're gonna call this clean. So I'm going to just back it in the shop from the back there. I don't know what Dad's doing, taking the hammer strap off of that tractor. I don't know what he's going to use it for, but whatever. Tomorrow we'll get those blades all coated up. I did notice a few problems and things that need some attention. These gauge wheels, like I showed you earlier, this one here is way out of adjustment. This one is also out of adjustment. This gauge on the fertilizer opener, clearly have a bearing out in that one, so that needs some attention. I wonder about our fertilizer opener blades and our seed opener blades. That may be time to replace those. We'll have to measure them and see. Those are all winter projects, not stuff I'm going to work on now. I just don't have time. Had we not had 500 acres of replant and I was doing this 2 or 3 weeks ago, we'd probably work on it now, but not the case. So we got to get this done so we can get the tractor unhooked, so we can get the grain cart, and we got to get the combine home so we can work on the bean head, because wheat harvest is coming fast. We're a week and a half to 2 weeks away from wheat harvest, so getting this done and out of the way is priority to get combine stuff around so that we can harvest wheat. Okay, well, I put that planter in the barn, the tractor, and just kind of parked it there, and I cleaned up the concrete out front, power washed it off so that it's not covered in mud. It's a little after 5. I'm gonna go home for a while and hang out with the boys. I've got to go up and move that Traveler tonight about 7:30, 8 o'clock, somewhere in there. So we'll see you in a few hours here. Made it back up to the Traveler field. I'm a little bit late. I don't know how long it's been off. Can't be long because it's still dripping water, but maybe 15 minutes or so. There's about 20 feet left here. No big deal. We'll start the motor up and let that wind itself in, and then we're going to turn around and pull it. Yeah. So you guys know how this thing shoots out in an arc, right? It goes from one side to the other, but it's shooting the water 200 feet. So there's kind of an area around the base of the Traveler here, the center lane, that doesn't get very much water, like you know, right in here. It's damp on top, but it didn't get much water until you get down there where there's that little puddle is kind of where it finished. So there's a big arc here that's really not irrigated and it's dry, and we've got it on both sides of the lane at every spot. So what I like to do in order to help fix that is when I get to the third or fourth pull, which we're on the fourth one now, so there's 3 lane spaces between here and the start, I turn the gun and pull it back down my main center lane there. So we're gonna go ahead and do that one now, because I've got a relatively short pull going that way, which is probably gonna take like 4 or 5 hours, which puts it at like 1 o'clock in the morning. And if I go that way, it's a little over 9 hours, which puts it at 5. And I decided I would rather get up at 5 than 1 and come and do this. So we're gonna make that pull here now, and then we'll do this one here in the morning. And yeah, so that'll get all the stuff that we can't get in the other lanes and kind of finish that end of the field off. Making another run. About half the base layer still on there. Pulled her right to the edge of the corn, and don't tell anybody. I ran over a little bit of corn, but it's okay. Think it'll spray onto the road? It shouldn't, but it'll be close. It didn't when we were in this lane, so it shouldn't now. We'll see. There is still a little bit of moisture out there between the rows, but that first lane is she's dry, or dry on top. I didn't even have any mud stick to the tires coming down it. So let's hope it rains on Saturday. That's our next chance. If it doesn't, when we get done with the field, we start over. Well, look at that, 1,100 feet right on it. Okay, I guess we go start up our pump now. Pump's on, fertilizer's running. Let's go see if we're shooting the road. Also, it's worth mentioning that I did not bring fuel up for the generator today. It's just safer when I can put a whole 100-gallon tank load in, just in case, so I don't spill any, since there's no auto shut-off. And this generator will run almost a full 48 hours on a full tank of fuel. So skipping today when I put it in at 4 o'clock yesterday is no big deal. It'll run just fine. We'll bring fuel up in the morning tomorrow. Pretty dang cool. Coming at you. Oh, it might get me here. So right here we got some drops. I don't know, are we 16 rows in off the road? Pretty close. We're not spraying the road. That's what we wanted. This thing sure is a lot of work, but man, is it impressive and fun to just sit here and watch a little bit. Coming at ya. Look at that rainbow. I want to run up there and check the pressure gauge real quick, but I wanted to wait until that went by so that I didn't get soaked. It's still right at about 69 or 70 pounds. We'll probably be right there through most of it. When we get closer to the pump, it may go up a little bit, but pretty much what we're going to deal with, it looks like. It's impressive from here too. My goodness, that's cool. Okay, it's coming back for me, so time to get out of here. That's going to be it for tonight. Next change is at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'll bring you guys with me, but that's tomorrow's video, so we'll start there tomorrow. And yeah, agenda for tomorrow, I really need to go get the combine. I'm planning on doing that if I can find a way to get there. That's my biggest thing right now, is I need a ride because I got to drive the combine home. So if I can figure that out, we'll go get the combine tomorrow. I also got to finish that planter project up, get that put away, which shouldn't really take that long. So Hopefully we can do both of those things, but we'll see. So anyway, have a good night, guys. If you have any questions and comments, leave them down below. I'm trying to think. There's been some comments today that I was going to answer. Hold on, let me look. Oh yeah, now I remember. Couple of things. If there is a catastrophic main pump pipeline failure, will our pump shut down? Unfortunately, no. There is a way to program or plug in a Murphy switch to our pump. It would be a lot easier if it was a gas-powered or diesel-powered generator right on the pump instead of the electric motor. There's a way to do it. We have a Murphy switch there. We've just never hooked it up. It's never been a real big concern because, one, it's never happened, and two, it's extremely unlikely that it would. So, no, our pump would not shut down. It would just keep pumping water until the timer times it out. So we do have that timer there as kind of a safety to keep it from just running forever. So there is at least that. Other thing, somebody asked me how many rows we were irrigating in one pull. My lane spacings are 360 feet, or really 370 because I skipped 10 feet for the lane, but it's 360 feet of corn, 10-foot lane, 360, 10 foot. So that would be, what did I figure out? Well, it's 9 planter passes. This is, yeah, I figured it out earlier. 16 times 9, whatever that is. 144, is that what I figured? Something. Also, one other thing, if I get a situation kind of like tonight, except for tonight I wasn't sitting here waiting for it, but if I get an evening where it's going to be done relatively not terribly late, 10, 11 o'clock, and I'm sitting here waiting for it, that's a great time for me to do a live stream. So it'll be an extremely short notice thing, and but I'll do one, because what else do I got to do while I'm sitting in the field waiting on a traveler sometime, right? So just kind of keep your eye out for that. It'll be a late evening thing if I do it, and it may or may not happen. It's just the timing of the traveler and where everything's at. So, but I did have that thought it would be a good idea. Yeah, so anyway, questions, comments down below, and hit the like and subscribe buttons for me, please. We're getting closer to 10,000, but you guys got a long ways to go, so hit that subscribe button for me, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.